Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm about to share with you a story that sounds just like that disease called Wedico that I talked about on the channel not long ago. If you all remember, a person who suffers from Wedico is basically a psychopath. Okay, you're going to hear some details of how this woman, this Asian woman, tortured a black woman and now is receiving a very light-handed sentence. A very extremely light-handed sentence. Now, we've seen people do way less than what she did, but they got extreme, heavy-handed sentences. So what it seems like to me, and many others, which has been made very clear. It's been made very clear in many cases that when it comes to so-called black people, they're not going to throw the book at other people, okay? But they will throw the book at a black person if they are the suspect. Now, of course, there was this push to make it seem like Asian people had to fear so-called black people. But we've seen many cases of where they were the aggressors attacking black people. No one can deny this, okay? No one can deny this, although people have tried to do that. We talked about a case years ago where an Asian shopkeeper literally killed a little girl, a teenager, and just got away with it. Anyway, I'm going to share some details. I'm going to share the details, and they are tripped out. You are going to hear some of the details of what this woman did to her victim, her 60-plus-year-old victim, how she tortured this woman. And now she is getting the benefit of the doubt with a light-handed sentence. Listen to the details, and I will be right back.
A professor at a New England liberal arts college for women, who used a fire poker, rock, and pruning shears to torture a colleague for hours, was sentenced on Wednesday to at least a decade in prison. Ri Hakianaji, 50, an art professor at Mount Holyoke College in western Massachusetts' Pioneer Valley, pleaded guilty in Franklin County Superior Court on Friday to 9 charges in connection with the attack on fellow professor Laurette Savoy at Savoy's home, according to Northwestern District Attorney David Sullivan. After the change of plea hearing last week, Judge Francis Flannery recessed the court until Wednesday morning, where he sentenced Hakianaji to 10 to 12 years in state prison. Hakianaji appeared at Savoy's home late at night on December 23, 2019, and claimed she was seeking emotional support after a breakup. After Savoy opened the door, Hakianaji bludgeoned her, held her in what prosecutors called a 4-hour torture session that continued into the early hours of Christmas Eve, and allegedly told Savoy she had loved her for years and Savoy should have known her feelings. In an impact statement shared in court, Savoy, who taught geology and environmental studies, said that she suffered literal torture of body and of mind, not knowing if I would survive the next minute yet needing to find some way to save my life. Savoy said that Hakianaji told her she would not live much longer after remarking on how much blood she had lost, according to the Greenfield Recorder, and continued to watch her bleed, while taunting her and telling her she would be blinded and disfigured before she was killed. She betrayed my trust, invaded my home, and tried to kill me with premeditated violence, Savoy said. The cruelty she wielded with weapons and expressed in words was extreme. According to prosecutors, Savoy sustained stab and puncture wounds, in addition to broken bones. Her face was fractured after Hakianaji restrained her and repeatedly punched her in an act of random savagery. Savoy eventually persuaded Hakianaji to seek help, prosecutors said, but her trauma has endured. The emotional, physical, financial, and professional impacts of this crime have been huge, and they continue, Savoy said Friday. Now the defendant's violation of me is becoming part of a public persona that I did not choose. She has invaded my privacy, my career, my life. Hakianaji pleaded guilty to charges including 3 counts of armed assault to murder a person aged 60 or older, 3 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon on a person aged 60 or older, and single counts of mayhem, home invasion, and entering a dwelling at night for a felony, according to the district attorney's office. Her attorney, Thomas Kokonowski, had pushed for a shorter sentence of 5 to 7 years that could be followed by probation. He reasoned that Haki Inaji did not have a history of criminal offenses before attacking Savoy. He also argued that Haki Inaji made efforts to manage her angry outbursts. Haki Inaji had initially pleaded not guilty to the charges in February 2020 and had been held without bail at the Franklin County Jail following her arrest. Last month, a Franklin County Superior Court judge ruled that, with conditions, she could be released if $5,000 cash bail was posted. That bail was revoked after Haki Inaji changed her plea on Friday. The former professor began teaching at Mount Holyoke in 2004, and before the attack had taught in the school's studio art, art history, and Asian studies departments.
Wow. I was noticing how at one point they even offered her bail at such a low amount, $5,000 bail. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does that mean that she only have to give 10% of the $5,000? If that is the case, are they saying 500? Even if it is the 5,000, that woman, being a doctor, she can certainly afford that. Whether it's 500 or 5,000, to even offer her bail after her committing such a heinous, torturous act to another human being, lets you know that even the officials in this case may suffer from Wedico, because they're basically saying, you know what, because she did this to a person of color, we're not gonna make her suffer that much. This woman did something so horrible, and even told the woman, she threatened her life, telling her she's not going to live that much longer, threatening to poke out her eyes and all of this kind of stuff. But yet she was offered bail of $5,000, in which they eventually revoked it, but that's only because she pled guilty to something so heinous. So had she not pled guilty, you mean she would have been able to just walk out of there and possibly get to her victim again? She's obviously suffering a huge mental detachment, which I'm going to call a demonic infiltration of her mind, soul, and body, to where she was able to do such a thing to this woman to begin with. And so that shows you yet again what we continue to say on this channel, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers of darkness of this world, against powers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high and low places. I added the low places in there because, there's some stuff happening on every level. High and low levels of wickedness happening in this world. So, of course, in the comment section, I want to hear your thoughts on this torturous, demonic situation. Do you think this qualifies as Wedico? Those of you who didn't see our coverage on that disease, is a disease that Native Americans said that they believed white people suffered with Wedico. We talked about how anyone could suffer with it when you hear the different attributes of Wedico. It's something that anyone could have, right? And they labeled white people as having that because of what they allowed themselves to do in torturing Native American victims, right? And so anyone who can do such things to another human being suffers from this disease of Wedico. Do you think this qualifies? In the comment section below, leave your thoughts. Remember to keep it tight and keep it right. But with that, I am out. We hope you liked today's topic. Please leave your comments below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, share it like this video, and with that, we're out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.